Hello, everyone. Welcome. We'll let you all come on in. We'll let you come on in. Uh, what a day, what a night, a year. Uh, we'll let you come on in. We'll share it to a couple of pages. Um, it's hard to use the words we're excited to be here, especially to talk about this particular topic. Um, However, it is what it is. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Hope everyone is well. We're here a year later. The events that happened on May 25th, 2020 changed the whole world, literally. I know that's very um, basic to say, but it changed the whole world. We're reflecting tonight on all things, you know, purpose, of course, but all things George Floyd,
Yep.
because he lost his life. He didn't have to, but he did. And with that stated, we're just coming to talk freely, uh, converse, talk about what has happened, what happens next, what are the next steps for Black America as a whole, for the Black world as a whole, because we have brothers and sisters in varied continents, right? Varied countries. When I personally reflect back to Cara, and she's the founder of this great movement I have an honor to work with. When I reflect back on this particular day, I must be very candid. I didn't know. I didn't know on the day it happened. I was busy. I was working, doing a lot of things. I actually knew the next morning, and I was in disbelief.
Mm.
Like, what? What? And then when I, read NPR between, the different news media outlets, and I read and caught up, I immediately became angry. So it's like my memorial is tomorrow because I didn't even know right now last year this time frame. I didn't know anything was happening. I didn't know about George Floyd, never heard of him in his life. If he would have said Floyd, I would have thought Mayweather, right? I wouldn't have known anything about George. And if you said George, I would have said George who?
Busy.
But when we think about varied things and how these things transpire, how everything has taken place, it's a lot.
Right.
We're not going to say it's been easy. It's been hard. And let me be very candid. It's been hard as hell living in America through the last months of Trump. He was our president. But just going through that particular season and just seeing the outright disrespect, not just for one Black person, but for a lot of people, and on a lot of different levels. But then there's the rejoice, right? The rejoice in it all. Hey, all these bad things happen, but finally, people are listening. Finally, and when I say people, I mean of all races, culture, including some Black who were just shut in a box in their own little world, in their own little island, thinking everything was okay. And, race relations were awesome. So when we think about these things, that's just, some of the things we're talking about tonight. Feel free to comment. We'll post your comments here live, but join in. I want to introduce y'all yet again. You've been meeting her all last year, this year.
You don't need to introduce me anymore. I'm
Over
good.
and over. She
All
got
right.
the shirt on. Can I get a yellow
No,
shirt?
no, you can't.
Like,
this is exclusive.
I
So
mean-
anyway, everybody knows who I am, but who I am really doesn't matter right now. It's more about who we are becoming, because of the sacrificial lamb, which was George Floyd. And why my Black has a purpose was even born, why my Black has a purpose, why it's so profound, what it stood for. And like Z was saying, for me, the day I found out, I was actually sitting at this table, And I was just scrolling through Facebook and I came up on this video and I started watching it and I was just like, what in the world? And I mean, I could not take my eyes off the screen. And I was just, I mean, I was dumbfounded. Like, what in the world? And then I started to cry. I immediately got pissed off and I started to cry. And I was just like, you mean to tell me this man just kneeled on this live human being's neck for what we thought was only 8 minutes and 46 seconds, but we found to not be true, which was actually 9 whole minutes. Y'all, I can't kneel down on my knee for 9 minutes without it hurting. Okay. So to watch that unfold right before my eyes, I was just like, oh my God. I immediately started making phone calls. I ain't gonna lie, I was cursing, I was snapping, I was going off. I called someone, I can't even remember who I called, and I was just crying. And I was like, this don't make no sense. Like, I cannot believe this. It was just like a rude awakening for everybody. Like, and though, we did get a murder conviction, and, usually you'd be happy to say, he was found guilty. We've got justice, man. We still got so far to go. And that's the sad reality, is that we have so far to go. I was watching Georgia's live stream today, where they're celebrating at George Floyd Square in Minneapolis. And, they've got open mic performances going on, people reading poems. And the girl in one of her poems said, it's sad that our identification or our license read as an obituary. And I said, wow.
Wow.
That was so deep. I was like, oh my God. Like,
wow.
How do you change that thought? Like, she was like, I forgot her exact words, but that part right there stuck out to me.
Right, a license.
My license. You asked me for my license, and now it's gonna read as my obituary because that's how you see me. Then one of the paintings said, "You'll never understand until your skin color is a target." I was just like, come on, y'all. Like, do you really sit back and think about this stuff? That that we hear do you really sit back and think about the fact that your skin color is a target?
Right.
Because I'm Black, that makes me a threat. Because I'm Black, I kind of think back to when the trial was going on, and I'm trying to remember exactly what was said, but I think one of the officers, when he was making the call, said, he looks like he's on something.
Assumptions.
Because he's Black.
Would that be a judgment thing? I don't
definitely
want to get really, religious real quick, but minister of music here, I got to put that hat on. And it's like, whoa, how many people are always judging?
Man.
You talk about judgment in churches and very, denominations, but it's like, man, he automatically assumed. No test, none of that. Just Black man, you're too
huge,
tall,
right?
Yeah.
His
you
size,
bigger than me.
Right?
Wait a minute, you are bigger than me,
right? Size and color.
These type things, those are the things you think about when you reflect on this particular day, and it's like you don't want to keep talking about the same thing. I'm going to be very candid. I get sick and tired of saying the same thing over and over. Right. We just want equality. Hello, equality.
Right.
Same treatment. And yes, police brutality. Does it happen often as Black on Black crime? Let's answer that. No. However, when it does happen, listen, we're already, you see the bottom, it says what? May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Trust me, for Black people, it needs to be every second.
Right.
Every second, it needs to be mental health awareness, because we probably need a pill for a lot of things. However, pills is not going to solve anything. Even if we talked it out, does that really solve? No, we need to get to the foundation of these things, the root problems. And as a lot of these things are already embedded in systems,
right.
because for you to make that mention of an ID is an obituary, I couldn't have said it better, because that's it's like a horrific nightmare when I have to tell my son, who's a young, educated, black, handsome, fine, tall, built fella, right? Hey, you're way in Maine, okay? Lewiston, Maine, very small town, right? At a very prestigious college with one percenters. However, you must carry yourself totally different. Somebody say something to you, close your mouth. Have your ID ready. Have all of everything about your life, have it ready in a QR code. Why? Because if something happens to you, your body laying on the ground, somebody needs to contact me. They scan that QR code. Who knows? They won't be looking for that. So parents, that's just a hint. Get that for your kids. KKK, if y'all listening, in the name of Jesus, like, back off, because these are things we as black people have to do,
right,
to protect ourselves, especially our sons and our daughters. But we shouldn't have to do that. Why is that a norm that we're always saying, are you okay? What time are you going to be back? Where are you going? With who? Why? What area of town? And we're not talking about the South Side. Sometimes it's the North Side, because, hey, you got a few people in some tall trucks, got guns, and especially down here in the South.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Harris County. No, baby. Stay on down here. Okay.
I mean, the fear starts
just to have those kind of conversations. It's just like, why do we have to do that?
The fear starts even before they leave the house these days. The fear, I think, even for most, starts from even the thought of your child wanting to leave home or go to college somewhere away from you. Your child not being up under you. The fear starts then. And for Black people, I think, Z, you said it best, called collective trauma, and this is where we are all dealing collectively, or we all share a commonality, a common fear of this one thing, because we're all either victims or can become a victim because of the color of our skin. And we fear that for our children. We fear that for our sisters and brothers, our mothers, our daddies, whomever. And it's really sad that we are still having this type of conversation in 2021.
Totally. But if you think about it, it's like, how long are we going to conversate? Now, I am grateful for a lot of swift action that has taken place, especially with this new administration. Listen.
Right.
People want to blame Obama a lot, and I'm not going to get into the heavy politics of this thing, but let me tell you, one of my favorite statements was, Obama made it to the office, so he prepared the way. All right. Now, Biden is not Black. However, Kamala got some in her. So listen, we're just going to take these things and say, woo, go girl. Right. Because at the end of the day, things are happening in a timely fashion, and we're grateful for this swift action that has taken place. But it's the sorrowful part is that it had to come at the cost of a life that everyone witnessed, because a young girl, Darnella, video had her cell phone and just like, take Darnell out of the equation. Would we have known who George Floyd is? Would corporations be having $10 billion funds set up just for Black women, saying, oh, no, we get it now. Oh, this is what you were saying, that the treatment was wrong. Oh, we understand. We had to see somebody die.
Would we be pushing so hard the purpose for Black people?
Right.
Would we be pushing so hard that Black Lives Matter?
Right.
Which, yes, again, Black Lives Matter, but they gotta matter to us, y'all.
That part.
They gotta matter to us. We get so upset when another race, nationality, a police officer kill us, but it's okay for us to do it to us.
No, we have to get even more angry.
Man,
it's
right.
Like, you're my brother, you're my sister. We're all human.
We fighting for the same thing.
Don't.
We both want justice. We fighting for justice together. What is you shooting me for?
Right.
What are you trying to kill me? Why are you jealous of
Now,
me?
see, you coming into a whole nother topic.
Like I can't. I'm just saying. You know.
That's my favorite thing.
Well, what I just jumped onto that because I'm like, you said if she had not videotaped this, would we really be talking about this right now? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Would it really matter?
No.
Would it really matter to other people, not just us, whites, Asians, Hispanics? I mean, whomever, would it matter?
He was crying for his mother.
His mother who's dead.
Right. Like an anniversary. And it's just like, hello, like his story is just too traumatizing, even to just think about. And sometimes it puts you in a mind frame of, wow, was this like a movie? Maybe this didn't happen. This didn't happen in America. Nah, it's 2020. It's a year of greatness. It's 2020. We're going through a whole pandemic. They still out here killing people.
Right.
Wait a minute. The whole
Modern
world
day
is
lynching.
shut down. Right. The whole world is shut down.
Modern day lynching.
In our houses, masked up, quarantined, doing the right things, being good essential citizens, right? But still have time to just bother and harass somebody?
Wow.
No time for that. My Black has a purpose. I love this movement. I dedicate a lot of time to this movement because it's filled with a lot of sublime things, right?
Yeah.
Not always, hey, we got to post everything we do. Got to make sure that the TV and the cameras are there. We're about making a difference, impacting one life at a time.
Yes,
because those are the things, those are the real results. Those are the real, metrics, KPIs, whatever you want to put on it. At the end of the day, if you look back and you say, hey, such and such was here, now such and such is there. Listen, that right there, that's the difference. So I want to applaud you for founding this movement and motivating us all every day in Slack to get on it.
Well, I want to applaud the community. I want to applaud everybody who believes in it. Because I say that all the time, Black Lives Matter, but you got to believe you got a purpose. And that's the key word, you got to believe it.
Right.
In order to walk in your purpose, start, you know what I'm saying, live in order to fulfill your purpose, you got to believe that you have a purpose. And as a nurse practitioner dealing with mental health, it really, really, I don't want to say it shocks me, but it just reminds me, I guess I could say, of why my Black has a purpose is so important, because I get so many people come into my office and say, well, I just feel like I have no purpose. I feel like, what's my purpose? And I'm just like, wow, man, like this is what we're about, rebuilding that lost purpose that each individual has inside of them. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a purpose.
Right.
But we've definitely got to, what's the word I'm looking for, Z?
Be the purpose, be the change.
Help them to rebirth, I guess, their belief. Like their
wake up.
Wake them up. Wake them up. Definitely.
Hello.
So
you all right? Hey, baby. Right. You good?
Purpose. Purpose. You inside of there? Come on. It's time for you to come out now.
Hey, that might be a good song. Hey, purpose.
Hey.
You inside of there? Hey, Jesus. Purpose. You inside of there? Drop that beat. No, I'm just playing. I'm really not even a rapper. I'm totally just alluding right now.
Oh my God.
Just the worst ever wannabe.
Oh my God. Well, it looks like we have a guest who popped in.
Sure thing. Let's add them.
And hey, Latia.
What's up?
Hey, Cuzzo.
What's up? Talking things Black purpose. Listen, you came in right on time.
Right on time.
I was making a song or a hip hop. It had a little flavor. Yeah, I'm just gonna back off and just leave me alone.
Yeah. I heard you.
Okay. You heard it. Oh God, here she go.
You liked it? Drop that purpose.
No.
See, don't have me acting up. See, I try to be good, but we just posted in the comments that it was 8:46, so that was the first, timestamp, that we thought all everything that the officer, I'm not even gonna call him by his name, just not gonna honor somebody like that. But the officer, had his knee on his neck.
I call him the coward. I don't even call him an officer.
8:46. That's what everybody was on until the trials, and we got more information. And then we're like, wait, it was longer? Are you serious? Whatever the case, 60 seconds is too long for me. Singing, right? You sing, Tia. You play the piano. Can you hold your breath for 45 seconds and be good?
No, I'm tapping out.
Right.
Right.
I'm tapping out really good.
Hey, we got a good comment. Oh, wait a minute.
No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
Nisha, right? Which is Tanisha Hemingway. She said, drop that purpose, drop that beat. Thank you. Thank you so much for that compliment. We have to appreciate the arts. I'm not even going to talk about the arts right now, but the arts and Black purpose go hand in hand. But I just want to look at hip hop a little bit different. Hip hop, orchestra, and country together.
Can we?
And then slide in some rock. Yeah, go ahead, Tia. Go ahead. Look at Tia. She's just like, I can't. She's like, no.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying that would be dope.
That would be dope.
That would be dope.
Okay. We just okay.
Yeah. Moving on.
But moving on. Yeah, we are just talking about and commemorating the life of George Floyd. Well, not, I guess we can't say the whole life of him, but this day that he sacrificed basically, his life. And I also saw a painting when I was watching earlier. It was a painting of his daughter, and it said her arms were out like this, and she said, "My daddy changed the world."
Mm.
How do you feel about that? Like, and where were you when you found out about George Floyd?
I was actually at home, and I got mad, like beyond mad, because I'm looking at him as my brother,
right?
The older brother that's around the same size as him. I have a dad, I got cousins, and just thinking that could have been one of my family members. Even though he's a male, that could have been me. I mean, because these days they don't discriminate between Black male or Black female.
No respect of gender.
They just go in, and it hurt my heart.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's crying out for his mother, and as a mom, when my baby crying out to me, and I know you can feel the pain, you could hear the pain in his voice about he wanted his mom. And as a mama, when our kids get a boo-boo when they were little on the playground, and they say, "Mama," we be like, "Where's my baby at? Where?"
Right.
We beeline to our babies.
Right.
So he reached out to a lot of mamas, a lot of sisters, a lot of brothers, reached out to everybody when he did that. Yeah. And for that officer, I mean, that hurt. Because we put so much faith in officers. We held them on a certain pedestal.
We do.
I mean, they're supposed to serve and protect,
right,
not harm. That is not part of their oath. They're supposed to serve and protect. And he didn't do any of the serving. The only thing he served was his knee. He protected nothing. He had him on a filthy ground, and he protected nothing.
He protected himself. When people came at him, he was quick to reach for his mace. You know what I'm saying? And then in the case, they said, oh, well, he didn't want to render care or whatever because so many people were around. And I guess he feared that, really? You were thinking about yourself.
Right. Yes. And selfish, because when you put on that shield and that belt, you put self aside.
Right.
I have family members that are law officers, FBI, marshals, you name it. And when they put that badge on, they're no longer self, they're protecting their community. It didn't say protect yourself, it said protect your community.
Right.
And that is not what he did. And it hurt, because then now we have to gain more respect now for the law officers, because he lost it. He just lost everything, every kind of respect that we had for them.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. And and I'm glad you said that. I don't want to cut you off, but you said we now have to regain, and it's crazy because we didn't have much for them to begin with.
Exactly.
So it's like now, and the scary part is that citizens, where we used to fear the law a little bit,
Hmm.
there's no longer a fear. It's not a fear as in, oh man, I don't want to get in trouble by the law. The fear is, I'm not going to obey them. I'm not going to do what they say. I'm not going to stop for them. I'm not going to get on my hands and knees because they're going to kill me.
Right.
That's sad that is the ultimate thought. That's the only thought that we have. Man, they finna kill me, man. You get pulled over for a traffic stop, man. I ain't gonna stop because they're gonna try to kill me.
Even when they get behind you, they look at you funny.
Right.
Because I have caught a lot of hatred from George Floyd to now. 365 days, I have caught so much. Just
Wow.
being a Black woman and being Black just all together. You name it, I've been pushed in the grocery store. I
Mm.
have, yes, I have been denounced. I have been everything in the last 365 days because of George Floyd. And I said that it was wrong. Me saying that that was wrong, I have lost a lot of people that I quote unquote thought were friends and family
Wow,
Wow.
wow.
Are you
because
better than
I
me?
believe serve and protect.
The sad part about all of that is it becomes really simple. Regardless of what kind of history he had, right? And if the officer was had a good educational history of who George Floyd was, and then he presumed that he wanted to judge and then just use force, whatever. I don't know. What I do know is the man asked 20 times and kind of stated over 20 times that he couldn't breathe.
Hmm.
Um, Going back to your statement of protect and serve, at the end of the day, if you have a heart and you're still a human being, like real talk, and
Mhm.
you have compassion for people, and you're just a decent person. You don't even have to be one of the best. You just a decent individual, meaning like, okay, I was mean the first 12 times.
Hmm.
Dang, number 13, can you stop?
Right.
14, 15, and it's getting weaker and weaker, right? Nah, I'm just not with it. So that's why I'm just calling him officer, because in my book, police, all type of law enforcement, they just have to be aware. And I'm not just going for the police. Let's just start where it's actually more toxic. And a lot of George Floyd's probably exist, and a lot of corporations, they work in 8 to 5.
Right.
They have that supervisor, they have that manager, they have that senior vice president, they have that chamber of commerce president, they have that mayor. Who knows, right? There's so many different titles that can fit the officer title. And we
Yes.
know this as Black Americans. So it's like we have to educate ourselves to be aware of those type people, but at the same time, they also have to be educated. But then let's be real good. Bump the education.
Hmm.
When are y'all going to get better? And y'all is anybody in that other officer group that I just mentioned. So regardless of your title, if you're a human, if you're of another race, and you really don't know many things about Black people, Black culture, Black activities, Black purpose, just pick up a book. Better yet, ask somebody
Right.
who is. Hey, I noticed that you're Black and I really don't know anything about you. Let's be friends. Friend somebody on Facebook. It's like these things aren't very difficult to do. However, uh, is it something that people want to do? Well, these are the things, and this is why us as a board, My Black has a purpose. This is why we out here pushing.
Mhm.
One in the electronic streets, email after Slack, after DM, after tag, after something in the mail. Listen, we coming for you in a nice way. Black, white, Latino, whatever. We're not looking at color, we're looking at race and making sure everyone is aware that, hey, Black people, we have purpose. We're here to fulfill that purpose, and
Yep.
everyone is unique. Just because my purpose is one way doesn't mean that that's her purpose or your purpose.
Right.
Especially this has to increase in our male community of Black men, because that's a whole nother conversation. We have so many conversations to have. We can talk all day, but at the end of the day, we're here to honor George Floyd, to think about what has been done, what is going to be done. We know what's going to be done. We're going to announce a lot of things in the end of the summer, towards the fall, programming, literacy, advocacy, a lot of grassroots things,
Right.
but things that are just tangible for anyone, who's black. They can actually achieve something, because everybody knows that soft skills and getting a job, having a job, just the basics of life. Those are the things that the black community, we're forced to deal with on a daily basis. Housing. How many renters are there versus owners, right?
Right.
There's so many things. We could go through the whole line. Education, pop. It's so many. If we hit every tier, at the end of the day, we'll be here all night and all next year. It'll be a whole nother year. We'll be looking at, oh, wait, y'all still talking? Yeah. Because if we just planned and talked, then that's what it would be. But we're about action. So, the march led to something that was productive, but the march was just named, right? My Black has a Purpose. The movement was already started, regardless if the march existed or not, because the march had already started in the mind and it was being pushed out. So we're grateful. I'm going through like different feeds, looking at BBC, different things. Go ahead.
So I just got a question, kind of going back to, I just want to know how y'all feel about, so we know sentencing is coming up next month for Mr. Chauvin. And how do y'all feel about him being locked up in like maximum, like what is it, like maximum security?
He's gonna be probably in a private cell.
I get it. I get what he's gonna be, but how does that make you feel?
To me, it's almost a spit in the face, because of the fact that you're getting in maximum security. So that's our tax money also. And you're being put aside. So you have still being tokened and placed to the side for nobody to be able to get you. So in other words, you're just being put in the corner and not addressing the real reason of why you do this. He needs to be educated. He needs to be reformed from prison. He needs to have somebody black coming, hey man, what's up with you? Just one-on-one, nothing physical. Right. But one-on-one, and he needs to be educated. If he's gonna do some time, he needs to do some education too.
Right.
Some counseling, because there is no person in their right mind would sit there and put their knee on somebody's neck.
Right.
There's anger somewhere.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Even on the mental health side, I said, I feel like he himself is dealing with some mental health. Like he blacked out or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like how in the world do you kneel that long and feel the life leaving out of somebody's body? You had to feel him go limp. And then when you stay there,
with his hands in his pocket.
Right. I mean, they even said glasses unmoved. The glasses stayed put. Like, and then for him to stay there and the paramedic have to tap him to tell him, move, dude, so we can check.
I'll tell you how he stayed there. He stayed there that long because the racism was embedded in every vein, every piece of blood in his body. Mental health. However, at some point, you have to be human,
What did you say, Tia?
I said, and he can't say he didn't know him, because in the trial it stated that he knew him previously.
Right.
Brand new face of a person. Yeah. You know this face. Even though we see somebody, even we're in a crowd, we'll see somebody, and then later on down the line, you see that person again. That mindset in the back of your mind is going to remind you, hey, I've seen this person before. And for you just to sit there and let him pee on himself. His urine is running on the ground past his body, and you sit there like you're just whistling the Andy Griffith Show. What's the problem? Hello. Like you said, he had the blackout. That patient had to go beyond here, and he was in a whole nother realm.
It was like he had no soul.
Yeah, totally no soul. Or if he had one, it was just a soul just bent on doing what he intended to do, and he intended to kill him.
He intended to kill.
He wasn't letting up until it happened.
He intended to kill that man, to see the life leave his body. You know, here he is, this big old black guy, you know what I'm saying, who looks threatening because of his size and his color, you know, and here I am. I'm God because I'm on him, and I'm, you know what I'm saying, I'm on top of the world. I got him under my knee. I'm all powerful. You know, that's how I looked at it. Like he just felt like he was just this powerful being, you know, and to just suck the life. I mean, like George Floyd was an insect.
I compare it to he enjoyed him begging, using the all-powerful statement, because he did put himself in the place of God. And it's that moment when Jesus is on the cross and Jesus is dying and he's saying, I thirst, right? And he wanted to give him vinegar. I know you want water, but I'm gonna give you vinegar because this is gonna make it worse for you. So I compare him to that same spirit, you know, that surrounded the men that put Jesus on the cross. So at the end of the day, you know, that's my Christian religious perspective, because everyone is, you know, valued to have their own belief. And I'm definitely a Christian. And those are the things I think about when I think about this man's death. And for that long time frame, 9 minutes and 29 seconds, 8 minutes and 46 was long enough.
Right.
But 9:29, come on, dude.
From a Black's perspective, I think it brought back where we were taught about our ancestors. I mean, my father is a slave's child. So my grandmother was a slave child. Thinking about them and how they had to beg their master for some water. It doesn't make it's an even playing field, because he had to beg for something, for breath.
Right.
And my ancestors had to beg for some water to be able to keep moving. And he was begging for some breath to be able to keep moving. We're in a whole different time span, but we haven't moved at all. They still trying to get control. At one point in time, when we gonna get their knee off our necks? When we gonna stand up enough to get their knee off our necks?
She said it. They still want to be in control, and that's what scares them. You know, that they are losing that control or have lost that control. Because I'd be dogged, and I almost said another word. If they ever think they're gonna enslave me, I'll be a dead monkey. I'm gonna tell you, okay. Whatever they call us, monkeys. I mean, they call it a lot of stuff, but I'll be a dead whatever that is.
And here's the thing:
if that ever happens again,
I don't know the exact ratio or statistics, but I'm convinced, just looking at my personal life, for every 20 white people, there's only like one that's probably just bad, right? And then that one bad person, not an apple, spoils it for the whole bunch.
Right.
Meaning bunch as in millions of them. And that's like horrible, because there's so many people out here, even people during slavery that were white, that came to the aid and rescue. Didn't say anything about it. They just did it. Hid the slaves, fed them, bathed them, did whatever they had to do, right? Hiding them amidst different things. But it's like that one bad person makes it bad for a lot of people. So unfortunately, that's like the consequence, because then we, like, they put us in a judgment bottle. Oh, sagging pants. Oh, then all black boys are just, you know, criminals. No, some are educated, and maybe they just wanted to do that for one day. They did that on Monday. Tuesday, they're not going to do that. But it's like you can't put everybody
in a box.
In this box. We're all individuals, and we're unique. Every one of us that is black has a purpose. And white people have a purpose too.
Right.
Like she says all the time. We're not saying that no other race has purpose. We're just saying it's time that black people
just
realize theirs. I had to use that voice.
We are not preachers.
I had to use that voice. We're just saying. You know, to get emphasis with it. But that's the change is going to come. These things will happen. That's the positive hope that you have to keep embedded within yourself, and that's definitely what we do. But to hear you even say, Latia, like the last 365 days pushed in a grocery store,
right, man.
It's like these things.
Y'all would have read headlines.
And this is Columbus, Georgia.
My Black Has a Purpose founder arrested. Walmart grocery store.
But the fact that you keep these things and you kept it to yourself, you handled it, it's like, what are you dealing with? Like, man.
Right. But it's even
I
more.
don't even fight, but I would pay somebody.
It's even more crazy
I'm just joking.
that that you're even going through that in this time. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would think that because this has happened to George Floyd and the world is upset about it, and the world is in turmoil, like, you would think that people would be a little bit more cautious or careful with the way that they treat people of color. Right. You know?
It's gotten worse.
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, didn't they start a No Karen Act or something for all these false accusations of, this colored man is doing something to me? Like, I mean, you started seeing so many people, so many women having these false claims that they were being attacked or they were being harassed by this black man or black woman. It was just crazy. Mm-hmm. And you would think that after the world has watched this, the world sees what we deal with because of the color of our skin, you would think there would be some remorse or some people. And I can't say that there haven't been any, because surprisingly, all of these marches, majority of the people marching were white.
Yes.
We're really surprised. Even My Black Has a Purpose, the march, it was a whole lot of white people. Right. I cried, huh?
They tired too.
Right. They are. They're tired because, like Z just said, they're put into this box. The good ones don't even get a chance because of the ones, what the non-good ones are doing. Mm-hmm. So you're right. They're tired too. They're tired of it being a black and white issue. Like, this is so old, y'all. Right. We're all human. If God allowed us to live with ourselves being cut open and flipped inside out, and we walked around, then what would we be racist of, or what would we be prejudiced of? Right. Because we all look the exact same. I think a lot about the fact that I'm a nurse and working in the hospital. I've had to give blood plenty of times, right? But when I bring that bag of blood in there, I read off the codes, I read off the blood type, I verify it with another nurse, I read off the expiration date. I've never seemed to read off the race of whom the blood came from.
That whole part.
Never. But I didn't know this was African American blood, Jehovah's Witness blood, Christian blood, Hispanic blood. Okay. Like, real talk. I've never had to read off whom the blood came from.
Right.
But they wanted the blood. Anybody.
They wanted the blood because Indian, guess what?
They needed it.
It saved their life.
Exactly.
That black blood that you hate so much saved your life. And to be honest, a lot of times I don't want to say this to kind of stereotype, but I'm gonna put it out there because it's the truth. A lot of times you will see a lot of black males at these plasma centers.
Yes.
Especially when they're down on their lucks, because they get paid a little bit of money for giving that. So you see majority black males there. Wow. So I want people who are so set on just being racist or having a problem with the black race culture, the black person, whatever, to understand that when you land in that hospital bed with an H&H of 6, okay? Mm-hmm. And you're needing those 3 units or 2 units of packed red blood cells.
Or you need that black hematologist.
Say that again?
Or you need that black hematologist.
Or you need that black right.
Wow. Well, you need them.
So I don't know.
Wow. Yeah. So police reform. Let's talk about that for a couple seconds.
Okay.
Biden, he met with the family of George Floyd today at his house, and
trying to get that app passed.
I thought that was pretty neat, but just thinking about police reform in general. Is it even possible? Because to say police reform, doesn't that mean like mind reform? Because if somebody's mind,
Woo!
when they come to work and they fill out an application, what if their mind is already made up? You know, I got a lot of friends who are in the military and they're Caucasian persuasion, and they're like, I joined just so I could get my shoot on. Like real
Right.
talk.
Wow.
And this is why they join. And I'm like, okay, well, just protect and defend our country, but don't just be, trigger happy just to
Right.
kill people. Don't you care? I don't care. Nazi, I don't care. For country or war, God, family, probably be like, whoa, okay, whoo, totally. All right, gotcha. But calm down. But listen, all I'm saying is we don't think that exists in the police force. If that exists in the military, I'm just saying, thinking about the events that happened in Tulsa, to hear that 107-year-old woman the other day testify and say that she heard airplanes and saw airplanes. What city got airplanes? Man, get out of here. And some people would say, whatever. Like,
Right.
come on. So I'm not even going to go there. You can read the history of, the massacre that occurred in Tulsa and destroyed Black Wall Street, and that particular memorial and commemoration is coming up soon. And the 31st through June 1st or 2nd. The whole point, even when we tried to be by ourselves, thrive, be educated, sophisticated, you're right, made our own produce, our own money, had barter systems on our own. We didn't need anybody. We built our own little city. Guess what? Still burned it down. Still killed 300 something of us.
Right. Well, that's because of what Latia said. They want that control. You know, and if we start doing it all our own, like we talk about all the time, that Black people are the biggest consumers.
Big spenders.
And if we stop, then they lose.
Don't
lose,
get me started on that. Juneteenth announcement from me. Juneteenth. Just know, read the history on what it is. Understand what Juneteenth is. If you didn't celebrate in the last 10 years, don't go nutty this year celebrating. Educate yourself first. This is a message to all of Black America. Understand what happened on the day. Understand why the day exists. Do on that day, right? Juneteenth forward. Juneteenth, which is the 19th, 2021 on forward. Just say, hey, I really never heard about this. I really never done it before. This is our young people. Some of them just don't know. What? Juneteenth? No, we do 4th of July. Do all the holidays, but just understand what you're celebrating. That's all I'm saying. Just know, educate yourself. That's all.
As you're talking about reform, that's going to come deep. You got to dig. You got to start from the root. And the root is going to come from Congress.
Come from where?
Congress. Because you have bills. Well, we'll just say here in Columbus, we're a consolidated government, which means that we go under different laws than any other city that's outside Muskogee County.
Right.
I realized a lot after the George Floyd, because people protested. Remember that? And people are going to jail because they're protesting on the street. They were saying it's freedom of speech. They said yes. But we're a consolidated government, and the consolidated government stated, you could not be standing still and protest. You had to be moving.
Oh, wow. Wow. Every little thing that they can do to nitpick.
Every little step I take, we will move. Oh, sorry. It was just one of the moments.
You have to find the gray areas. We have to know our laws for us to be able to amend and contest the laws.
Yeah. I was watching a video, and they were trying to arrest this guy on his property. He hadn't done nothing, and he was reading them. I mean, he was reading them officers. He knew the laws. He was like, "That's law 72 dash some point. It states that such and such." I was like, "You go, boy!" Like, I mean, I was sitting there looking him up, like, "What that law say for real?" He had me think exactly what you just said. Like, we have got to educate ourselves on our rights. and our law and the laws and our, but you know how, like I said, our rights when it comes to these laws, because if we don't, we will fall for anything. You know what I'm saying? And we won't contest anything, like you just said. We just gonna do whatever we're being told to do.
Mhm.
You know, we're gonna speak when we probably shouldn't, and all of that's gonna be held against us in a court of law. You know, so, and I just, it bothers me so bad that George Floyd never got that fair trial. You know,
Right.
he was judged by one. He had a jury of one. His trial was all in the same at the same time, and he
Right.
was sentenced by one, or
And
actually about four, because all of them kind of played a part.
right. And put to death.
And right,
Mm.
sentenced to death. That's what I mean. Sentenced.
Mhm.
He was given the death penalty.
You keep having me go to church over
All
here.
all by
about
one.
That's a sermon. Let me get that to
You
some
know?
pastors. Pastors, y'all want to download this for free for Sunday? Here it is. All of that happened by one, but then there is one that's coming back to get the one. Take that for you. Praise. Listen, y'all ain't ready.
This
Y'all ain't
child.
ready.
Being a sacrifice.
Where is the organ? Where the music is at?
Leave it alone.
Saying there's the one.
Oh my God.
You know, the one is coming back to get the one.
Man.
I'm serious. It's a sermon for this Sunday. Somebody take it. Memorial Day. Go ahead and put it in your little sermon notes and let the church shout.
It's just sad. It really is, you know.
Do you
And
think
you would have thought that after that, you would have thought after George Floyd that things would have digressed. But if
right.
you look further from 365 on back, we lost a lot of other Black brothers to violence.
Right.
They were back to back to back. Like, hello, did you not get the first one? So much blood on people's hands for no reason.
Yeah. And then I even though I don't condone the violence that happened after the death of George Floyd, I understand it. And it bothers me when people act like they don't. You know, I understand the frustration. I understand the tiredness. I understand the lack of understanding that we had in that time. It's like, you know, no, I don't want to understand. I'm tired of being peaceful. I'm tired of turning the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of y'all talking about, oh, well, you know, he gets a fair trial, or let's let the police handle it, or let the law handle it. You know, we just got tired.
Yeah.
you have to realize a lot of people were purposely planted.
No, I get
in
all
those,
that.
You know,
I get all that,
inciting,
but I'm talking
a lot
about
of people.
right. I get all that, but I'm talking about initially when it first started. When it first started, that was people tired. When they
Right.
set that police station on fire and was trying to beat it down and turning over those police cars, those were people tired. Yes,
They,
all the planting and all the people that joined in later on, you know, some things were purposely done. But
Right.
but initially, people were tired, man.
People are still tired.
So people are still tired.
That
Yes, ma'am.
tiredness is not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
That's just here to stay. That's like the sad part. It's like this is something we're going to deal with.
Mhm.
But how do we deal with it? How do we
That's a good
cope?
question.
How?
To do a Z, look, I'm gonna do a Z on y'all.
Do a Z.
Didn't he turn the table over when he got mad?
That's right. That's
There
right.
you go.
He said, "This is my father's house, not a den of thieves or whatever." They were never doing it like a marketplace. He said,
Then he flipped that table over when he got mad. Okay, so you can't say Jesus didn't get mad.
Right.
You can't say Martin Luther King didn't get mad.
Right.
Right. Right.
Yeah, him and Malcolm X had different ways of doing things, but both of them got mad.
Right. Anger is an emotion.
It definitely is.
Everyone has it and experiences it.
And instead of going for anger, they should have listened and say, okay, somebody had to be the sound mind. Okay, what can we do to help you?
Right.
Not, oh my God, y'all doing this, y'all doing that, y'all. They added fuel to the fire.
Right. And I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place, but I think about I just keep comparing, because another time that just pissed me off was, you know, the attack on the Capitol. And I kept thinking about everything that we were called, all the wild animals and, you know, monkeys and when the looting starts, the shooting starts, and everything that was said about us. But that situation happened,
Right.
and they were good people. These are good people, but they literally climbing the walls like monkeys.
Well, we don't have
You
that
know,
person in office. We're so
and
grateful.
I get that, but I'm just talking about the situations of how
It's
they would
crazy.
have been different, regardless of who was in office. How
Mhm.
that situation would have been totally different. How we would have been memorializing thousands, or of Black people.
Oh yeah.
You know, but one man goes into a store, gets the police called for a counterfeit $20 bill that they never proved, and he deserves to die.
It's not equality. Nobody can tell me that we're all equal at this point.
The sad part, Tia, is will there ever be? Will there ever be equality?
Right. Right.
What do we all have to do? Go through vitiligo and bleach our skin, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
what is it? What did us being born with a darker pigment,
Mm-hmm.
what how does that make us how did that make us less human?
Hmm.
How did that make us feel less? How did that make us, things hurt us less, or us I mean, I don't know. It's painful to even think about, man. It's hurtful, and a lot of times it just really makes you feel a sense of hopelessness.
Right. But we got to keep moving.
Oh, we
We
definitely got to keep moving.
keep moving and pushing because
Definitely.
if we don't, then we're gonna set ourselves back.
Right. But I say that only to say, though, because there are those people that are still there at that hopeless stage. And sometimes you got to meet them where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to say, hey, I get it. I understand. It's okay to be there, but you can't stay there.
Mhm.
And that's where you're right. We've got to keep moving,
Totally.
because the minute we stop, the minute they feel like, oh, we won, we've got them where we want them, that's when we've been defeated, and we've been defeated enough. We dare not. We dare not allow. And I keep saying, I hate to keep saying them, because like Z said, it's not all of them, but I guess
Right.
the ones that it is, you know, I
They
dare
make it
not.
hard for everybody else.
Say that again.
I said they make it hard for everybody else.
Oh
And
yeah.
they, as in some Black ones included. They have
Yeah.
Black skin. However, they are worse probably than the whole white race combined.
Come
That's
on
a
now.
whole nother webinar. Sign up for
Hold
it.
Come on now.
However, in commemoration of this great man that lost his life because it was a sacrifice, I consider it. We're ending at 9:29 because through a very, very sad trial, we learned that it was longer than the 8:46. So many people had memes of the timestamp, like 8 minutes and 46 seconds, 8 minutes, different. But then it's like, whoa, 9:29 is the actual. I just can't. So we're ending this session at 9:29 p.m. Any last thoughts? 60 seconds. I say we do it in silence.
Rest in heaven, George Floyd, and to his family. Our prayers, our thoughts, our love is still with and will forever be with you.
Right.
Totally. Well,
Keep pushing.
mute out and just rest. It's 9:29. Thank you all for joining.